everyone, welcome to EduTerrain and a warm good evening to you all. Just give me a second. Yes. So here we are. Since we have completed our just give me a second. Yes. Since we have completed our reports series yesterday, the 5-day report series, and we have 3 to 4 days time in this week, I have planned for the previous year questions. Let's do some previous year questions so that you'll have an understanding, especially for all those who have started their preparation recently for the NABARD grade A examination. NABARD के साथ साथ we'll do some MCQs, that is previous year questions of RBI as well, ESI के करेंगे, and tomorrow we'll be doing the ESI NABARD grade A के questions from 2023. Okay, before starting the session, I have few things to say. One, these are memory based questions, so we do not get exactly what is asked in the examination. There might be a little change either in the presentation of the question or the options, because majority of the options have been reconstructed based on the type of question. So memory based, so ये मत सोचे कि exactly ऐसा ही question आया होगा. And कभी कभी ये भी हो सकता है कि students, they don't remember the question properly, so they'll give vague idea. Based on that, we reconstruct the questions. So hence, I have clearly mentioned these are the memory based questions. There might be a change also. And there were 2 shifts. Last year, NABARD grade A 2023 phase 1, it was conducted in 2 shifts. One of those shifts questions I am going to take you through today. एक और shift के questions भी है. I have already compiled them as well. Some other week, next week or so, whenever we get time in between the series, I'll take you through those questions as well. So आज I think ये shift 2 के questions है, क्योंकि मैंने सारे mix कर दिए थे, even students, क्योंकि सभी से बात किए थे उस time. So ये है background. So with this, let me start today's questions. बहुत ही almost close to 35 questions है. कुछ exclusive current affairs questions I couldn't get. So whatever questions I could get, I am presenting here, and again I'll be providing with this PDF by tomorrow evening. Okay, these are my credentials. You can go through it later as well. Now let's start with the questions. The first question: what is the average gestation period of the sheep? That is, this question has been picked from the animal husbandry part. And animal husbandry mein whatever the kinds of animals, that livestock that we rear, you have to go through the terminology of all that. Terminology very very important as per the syllabus also, and उनका gestation period क्या है, lifespan, all that would be important. Lactation period कितना होता है, what is the use of each of these livestock, why they are reared, that is economic utilization, all those would be important. And here in this case, if you know the answer, please try to answer, otherwise I will keep on giving you the answers, no problem in that as well. If you know the answer, please try to give. So the average gestation period of the sheep, it is 152 days here, which is very close. Actually 148 days we consider, and whenever gestation period is there, exactly time नहीं होता है, always it would be plus or minus 5 to 10 days. So इसके साथ जो close है, that is 152 days only, hence we have selected that. Okay, and rest of the animals also I have given here the gestation period. Gestation period is nothing but right from conception till in the parturition, that is giving birth, to the act of giving birth to the young one, that period where the fetus develops in the womb of the animal, that is the gestation period. Okay, moving on to our next question: what is the scientific name of teak? That's the reason I always say, whenever we get any crop name or any title, please see that what is its scientific name. That would be important for your examination. In both the shifts they asked this question. One here in this case scientific name of teak, and in the other shift they asked about carnation or so, I don't exactly remember. And last year it was pomegranate का पूछा था, punica granatum, and पेंटांड्रा सीबा, सिल्क कॉटन, उसका साइंटिफिक नेम पूछा था. सो एवरी ईयर एक साइंटिफिक नेम तो पूछते हैं. सो प्लीज बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल. वॉट एवर crop names that you come across, see that what is its name. Here in this case for teak, it is a Tectona grandis. It is a scientific name of teak tree. Now this one is from the schemes part, from the current affairs question. Which of the following schemes was launched by the Union government to brand the Centre's fertilizer subsidy program as a Prime Minister's scheme? And this is one such scheme wherein one nation, one fertilizer. That's the concept that they have, government has put forth. And this scheme was launched in 2022, to be precise in August 2022. Okay. And along with that, they are planning to develop retail counters in the name of, under this particular scheme only, which is under the Ministry of Fertilizers and Chemicals, and that is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Seva Kendra. And as part of which, Kisan Samriddhi Kendra. This is not Seva, Samriddhi Kendra, wherein whatever the fertilizers, especially urea, DAP, potash, that all would be named after Bharat, that is Bharat Urea, Bharat DAP, like that. So there won't be all retail names. So this will ensure that entire country will have one naming, that is one fertilizer, one nation policy under the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Urvarak Pariyojana. Under this, they have done this, and they are planning to convert whatever the retail stores that are there already under this particular program, that is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samriddhi Kendras, that is 3.3 lakh such stores, as part of which last, I think 2022 May, 600 stores were launched. Slowly in phases they will be doing this, converting all the retail fertilizer stores to PMKSKs. And there are 3.3 that they are 3.3 lakh that they are targeting. See this, as I've said, Bharat Urea, Bharat DAP, Bharat MOP, Bharat NPK, whatever fertilizers that they are going to say, Bharat should be there. One nation, one fertilizer. This is the, to brand one for all. Okay. Moving on to our next question. Coconut is commercially propagated through which of the following methods? Coconut is one that can be commercially propagated through. This kind of question, at least one question would be asked, and in this paper you will find two such questions, and very important, this is a repeat question. Coconut, it was asked 2-3 years back as well. 2019 or 20 they had asked the question, and the same they have repeated here. And here it is seedlings. Coconut is always raised or commercially propagated through seedlings. From a single seed, it takes between 3 to 8 years to bear the fruit once it starts growing, and it takes at least a year, entire year, for the seedling to germinate, as you can see here. It takes good amount of time. Moving on to our next question. Climate smart agriculture does not include which among the following? When we talk about climate smart agriculture, it is how we are trying to adapt the plants, or how the plants are trying to adapt themselves to the changing climate. So they are becoming smart. How they are becoming smart? Because human beings, we are doing it smartly, agriculture. That is, if there is any sudden heat that is setting in, so we are developing some early duration varieties or short duration varieties. Thereby we are trying to escape that heat part, especially in wheat. This has happened last year. So climate, whatever the changing climate, now we can't do anything, but we have to get ourselves adapted to that, as part of which this climate smart agriculture has been introduced. And here if we look, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life for all, leaving no one behind. It is true, it includes that. Bridge a knowledge gap by providing clarity on the climate smart agriculture terminology, components, relevant issues, and how to contextualize them under different country conditions. Because every country has its own climatic conditions, so accordingly whatever the changes that are setting in, that would be again say different for different countries. So accordingly we have to come up with the concepts. Ecosystem balance, that's very much true. Increase in production with ecology sustainability. This is not true, because we are not trying to increase the production, but the productivity, enhance resilience, and reducing the emissions as well. So this is not true. All others are included in the climate smart agriculture. And majorly sustainably increasing agriculture productivity, adapting and building resilience to climate change, and reducing or removing greenhouse gas emissions wherever possible. Those are the three main, very important points associated with the climate smart agriculture. Moving on to our next question. What is the organelle that is responsible for reproduction and development in a cell? Like we human beings have organs, cells. Each cell also has organs like nucleus, mitochondria, ribosomes, Golgi complex, lysosomes, etc., which are called as organelles. So it is synonymous to the organs that we have. So one of these organelle is responsible for reproduction and development. So obviously wherever the reproductive material, DNA, etc. would be there, that would be, and chromosomes, chromatin, that all material is in nucleus only. So nucleus is the one that is responsible for the reproduction and development in a cell. Castration, that is removal of the male reproductive organs in lambs, that is in sheep, should ideally be done at what age? There are two things that you have to understand. One, dehorning, which is generally done at very early, that is day 1 to 3 days में ही कर देना चाहिए, before they completely come out the buds, the horn buds. Otherwise what will happen, एक बार आ गया मतलब it would be very difficult for the animal. Again, that is about dehorning. And second important point is castration. Especially these are those ones which after castration they become less aggressive, and also they are mostly reared for the meat purposes. And whenever castration, that is removal of male reproductive organs, that is done at the age of 1 to 3 weeks. And the castrated male sheep is called as wether. Terminology very important. And wethers, as I have said, after castration they will become less aggressive. Why 1 to 3 weeks of age? Because they can be castrated only when the testicles descend into their scrotum, and this will happen between 1 to 3 weeks of age. And once that happens, only after that castration can be done successfully. Okay, and if it is done at the very early age, even no sedation on painkillers would be required, and that can be done directly. And one more important point, rams without horns are known as polled rams. Majorly these are kept for breeding and for wool production, so that they won't hurt each other. Majorly for that purpose they remove the horns. Okay, moving on to our next question. What should be the ideal pH for the fish pond for fish culture? Again, this is from the fisheries part. And when we talk about fisheries, there are various kinds of fisheries. One of that is the carp culture. Carp culture, very important. Shrimp culture, very important. And prawn culture, very important. And there are various kinds of fish culture, that intensive, semi-intensive, extensive, and various kinds of fishing methods, various fishing nets and other implements, and how to catch fish. All that are important as part of fisheries topic. And one of that is the ideal conditions for the fish culture in fish pond. Like uska oxygen kitna hona chahiye, BOD, biological oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand, उसका pH कितना होना चाहिए, सॉइल pH अलग है, वाटर pH अलग है, टर्बिडिटी कितना होना चाहिए, all that would be very important. And here in this case they had asked you the ideal pH, which generally falls between 6.5 to 9, because the range is 6.7 to 8.6. but if we look at the options, this is one that is very close, hence that would be the answer. Moving on to our next question. What is any surface area from which runoff resulting from rainfall is collected and drained through a common point called as? This soil and water conservation, okay, and various water conservation methods, very important, under which there are various methods. One of that water conservation method is the watershed, and here we are talking about watershed only. Let me show you the watershed. This is a watershed, and as you can see here, whatever the water that is being received in the form of precipitation, it can be rain, snow, that runoff would be collected at one place, at a common point. Whenever rain falls, whenever rain occurs, what will happen? A part of that would be absorbed by the earth as a percolation. But if it rains continuously and there is no place for the water to get percolated, it starts running off on the surface of the earth. That all runoff water can be collected at a single point and store that for future use. And that is watershed. And when we talk about watershed, there are various concepts associated with it. How to build, various stages also. How to build, how to maintain, how to manage, how to plan it in such a way that various villages or people who are associated with this area can get benefit out of these watersheds as well. Okay, very important. Now, which among the following forms an integral part of the National Agriculture Research System, that is NARS, and it is an integral part of this, so you should see it as a component of NARS, and aims at assessment of location specific technology modules in agriculture. When we talk about the assessments of location specific technology modules that are being developed by the local research stations, that would be in these none other than the Krishi Vigyan Kendras. As I said, it is one of the component. NARS में क्या क्या components है? एक तो सबसे पहले education, okay, research, under research only extension and making this reach to the needy or the farmers, right? So one of these is the extension work or the testing work, all that assessment work that would be done under this KVKs. And KVKs, Mohan Singh Mehta committee is the one that has suggested the idea of farm science centers, that is Krishi Vigyan Kendras. They suggested that, based on which the first KVK was established in 1974, and in Puducherry. This is very important. This is very important, and this is 100% financed by the government of India. And when we talk about these KVKs, they are associated under some agriculture universities or ICR institutes or related government departments that is associated with agriculture, horticulture, or NGOs who are exclusively working in agriculture. And there are various functions of KVKs that include on-farm testing, that is what we have seen just now. Frontline demonstrations, there are demonstrations also that would be done so that farmers can visit and see and understand why it is done, how it is done, what are the benefits if they can themselves do it. Capacity development of farmers and extension personnel, that is training also would be given to them to work as knowledge and resource center of agriculture technologies. Provide farm advisories using information and communication technology and other media means so as to reach the farmers. Excuse me. In addition, they can even produce quality technological products like seed, planting material, bioagents, livestock, and make it available to the farmers. And that would be in बहुत कम केसेस में ऐसा है, अदरवाइज केवी केस के लिए ये मेजर फंक्शंस है. दिस इज the last of it, and it is available only in few cases, not in all the KVKs, but otherwise rest of them they are done or adopted or the mandate or activities of other KVKs. Okay, moving on to our next question. As I've said, if you know the answer, please keep on giving me the answers. Since it's very lengthy, I thought of taking it in a faster manner. That's it. Which among the following helps to answer farmers' queries through farm tele-advisors? So they can call this customer care center and then talk to them, ask questions related to the farming, and accordingly they can get answers for their doubts. And this is KCCs. Okay, these are the ones, not Kisan credit cards. Okay, and these are the ones wherein the farmers can ask questions to them, queries, and majority of the queries would be answered by the telecallers itself. But suppose if they are not able to answer such particular query, that would be passed on to the local university or the scientists or the researchers and get the answers from them. Okay, so that is Kisan call centers. It was launched for the first time in 2004 under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and they can talk in their own language. Currently they work in 21 locations. This is a toll-free number that is allocated, and 21 locations में 22 languages they'll talk. And these KCC agents are known as farm tele advisors, who are the agriculture graduates, postgraduates, specialized courses जिन्होंने किया है agriculture में, they would be appointed as the farm tele advisors. Okay, moving on to our next question. Muga silkworm is reared on which of the following tree species? Now when we talk about silkworms, there are various types of silkworms and they have to be reared using only specific types of tree species, like mulberry silkworm. It can be fed only with the mulberry leaves. Okay, airy silkworm, it can be fed only with the Ricinus communis, that is a castor plant. So similarly, Muga silkworm, it depends on Som and Solu plants. These are the trees, actually I should not say plants, these are the trees, and they can be reared only on these trees. And one of these is that, see, this is a Muga silk. This is the cloth that has been woven using the Muga silk, and here it is Persea bombacina. It is Som plant. Solu plant, Litsia monopetala. And please be very, very careful. Scientific names very important. And when we talk about this Muga silk, it is extracted from the Antheria assamensis. Exclusively India में कहीं नहीं मिलेगा except in Assam. And Muga silkworm silk research station hai, that is also in Assam only because of this. Moving on to our next question. Which state has launched the Meri Fasal Mera Byora portal? See, regional level also states, they maintain their own portals, their own way of helping the farmers, and that also would be important for your examination if there is any in the recent current affairs prior to the examination. In this case, Haryana is the state that has launched this Meri Fasal Mera Byora portal, so that the farmers can avail benefits of several government schemes directly after uploading their crop related details. So once they upload that, they'll be able to understand which are those schemes that can be made applicable to these farmers based on the data that they have uploaded. So this will help easy mapping, etc. Okay, for which they have launched this fasalhry.in is the portal. Moving on to our next question. Commercial propagation of papaya is done through. One question coconut का हमने देखा था. Now it is papaya, and same one question on mango and guava was also asked in the earlier examinations. So commercial, that is propagation methods. If you go through the syllabus also, ARD में horticulture का syllabus देख लीजिए, horticulture and plantation. Okay, in that you will find one topic, propagation methods of various horticulture crops. Grafting, layering, tissue culture, specialized structures, and sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction, budding. These are the various kinds of propagation methods through which the plants can be propagated. So this one topic is very important. Cuttings में भूल गई. Okay, so very important. Please go through this topic thoroughly. एक या दो questions तो compulsory इसमें से आते हैं. In this examination we have got 3 questions. Okay, एक तो हमने कोकोनट का देख लिया. Papaya also it's done through seeds. Through seeds only it is done. Moving on to our next question. This again is from the horticulture topic only. Which substance is used for the degreening process of removing the green color from the skin of fruit after harvest? So naturally what will happen? The ripening happens. So based on which slowly the color changes. But for marketing the produce, there are 4 major types of harvesting. That is the time at which the fruit can be harvested. So here mature fruits are harvested even before ripening completely, and they will be exposed to ethylene gas that turns them into color. That is, they remove the green color, that is the chlorophyll that is present in the fruit, which actually is called a degreening process. And here ethylene gas is used. But here only mature fruit is suitable for degreening. Otherwise what will happen? Complete color to change hoga. The taste would not be good. Moving on to our next question. Which among the following is not a symptom of damping of disease in papaya? See, if you look at this question, you must be wondering, there are 2 questions that were asked from pathology. But plant pathology is not as part of your syllabus as per the NABARD's syllabus provision. But yes, agar pathology related या entomology related, if there are any content, or there is any content that has caught the eye of the examiner from the current affairs, ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ static part, but if there is anything that comes in current affairs, definitely keep an eye on that, go through the content thoroughly. That can be asked in the examination, though it is not mentioned in the syllabus, because that is highlighted in the current affairs. Okay, hope I am able to make a point here. Very important. कई बार ऐसे questions पूछे गए हैं. Excuse me. So here in this case, all these symptoms that have been highlighted here, they are symptoms of damping of disease. Damping of disease क्या है? Fungal disease है. Generally ऐसे seedling में आती है, and that is young seedling. So roots. So the fungus would be there in the soil itself. So that would weaken the stem. So damping of, मतलब it will wilt. The plant will wilt completely. Thereby, sometimes after usage of fungicides and various other means, we can revive the plant. Otherwise, because yes, पूरे xylem, the vascular bundles that would be completely damaged. So there won't be any movement of food materials or the water to different parts of the body. Thereby it affects, kills it. So your appearance of water soaked patches on the stem near the ground level, because जहाँ पे भी soil contact में हो, वहीं पे ये होगा. Disease first symptoms. Terminal leaves of infected plants turn yellow, start drooping and falling off. No water is being provided. What will happen? No photosynthesis. Obviously they'll turn yellow and start dying. The affected internal tissues give a honeycomb-like appearance. Infected plants cannot withstand strong wind and topple down and die. They can't withstand because here the entire part has become weak. And here in this case it is caused by the Phytophthora species. Generally fungal infection these all are. Moving on to our next question. The edaphic water that held tightly onto the surface of soil colloidal particle is known as what, which is essentially non-liquid and primarily in the vapor form. See, when we talk about edaphic water, edaphic matlab soil water. Okay, soil water, 3 types. Kindly remember. 1, gravitational water. Okay, 2, capillary water. And this we have already covered very recently in the agronomy part. And 3rd is the hygroscopic water. Okay, this is not available to the plants. This is not available to the plants. Only this is available to the plants, capillary water. And this is held against the gravitational force of the earth. in the micropores of the soil. Hygroscopic is the water that we are talking about here. Generally, it is very tightly held to the soil particles, which is not available to the plant. Now, when it reaches capillary water, जब half हो जाता है, by the time it becomes half, the irrigationist, he has to provide water to the plants. Otherwise, that will reach this hygroscopic water condition, that is permanent wilting point, and this will lead to the death of the plant. And here we are talking about hygroscopic water. Okay, moving on to our next question. Which of the following types of farming style is recommended for cropping along the contour of sloping land to avoid soil erosion with slope greater than 30%? See, when we talk about raising the crops on the sloping lands along the contours are the imaginary lines of similar height. When we trace, अगर ये hilly area है, when we trace the similar height, altitude, similar altitude वाला होगा, if we draw a line, imaginary line, that would form the contour. Okay, contour lines, and we can raise the crops onto these contour lines, and thereby we can intercept the water flow, runoff water, and save the soil, conserve the water, thereby raise the crops as well. But again, based on the slope, कितना slope है, उसके basis पे there are various farming styles. Those are all you can study under the soil and water conservation methods. We have agronomic practices, we have engineering practices. Agronomic practices, regular practices only, where even with the minimum knowledge also the farmer can take up agriculture on the slopy land and take good crop. Engineering practices or engineering principles are those where they have to apply some sort of engineering principles, thereby going against the slope we are going to raise the crop. In this case, whatever the options that I have provided, only one option can go. No, we can raise the that is greater than 33% slope होगा, तो भी ये वाले मेथड से हम लोग क्रॉप्स रेज कर सकते हैं. Okay, others we can't, and that is the contour trenches. Bench terraces, contour bunding, contour farming, stone terracing, all these less than 30%. 1 to less than 30%, I should say. But contour trenches are the ones that can be used, this farming style can be used to raise crops in those areas where the slope is greater than 30%. Okay? जब हम लोग सॉइल्स वाला चैप्टर करेंगे, विल डू दिस डिटेल्ड मैनर, क्योंकि ये बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. Contour trenches. Moving on to our next question. What is the substance that contain microorganisms which when added to the soil increases its fertility and promotes plant growth? Okay, so whatever the plant growth regulators, under this one of the category is the biofertilizers, bio-life living organisms that provide fertility to the soil or raise the soil fertility or provide nutrients to the growing crops. And here this is what we are talking about. When we do soils and plant mineral nutrition, under plant mineral nutrition, we'll deal with this in a detailed manner. Okay. Now from RD, rural development. According to the census of India 2011, what's the percentage of rural population in India? Still, we haven't done or we haven't finished with our started with our 2021 census. So for your examination, whatever the 2011 census that is there, that would be important, especially since it is ARD paper. You can expect rural India से जितना भी data होगा, उनका population कितना है, which is that state which has the highest rural population, which is the state which has less rural population, which is that state where rural population का कितना education है, literacy ratio, all that would be important here. In this case, the percentage of rural population in India is 68.84. Okay, that is close to 83.13%. sorry 83.3 crores who are living in rural areas as per census 2011. अभी का कुछ पता नहीं है, इतना आइडिया नहीं, बट दे आर सेइंग दैट इट इज क्लोज टू 60%, 50 to 60% के बीच में, ये 55+% के आसपास. ओके, नाउ व्हाट इज अ पैन इंडिया इलेक्ट्रॉनिक ट्रेडिंग पोर्टल दैट नेटवर्क्स द एग्जिस्टिंग APMC मंडीज? Okay, agriculture produce market committees, mandis, APMC, to create a unified national market for agriculture commodities in India. This is again very, very important. Lots of questions were asked from this particular topic every year because this is one of the flagship schemes of Government of India. Very important. Electronic National Agriculture Markets, that is ENAM. इसमें भी कई सारे मॉड्यूल्स हैं. Currently 3 modules are running under this. Okay, and fruits and vegetables are the one that trade lot on this ENAM. Moving on to our next question. This again is from the propagation methods that we have discussed. Propagation methods in horticulture. Just अभी थोड़ी देर पहले जो मैंने highlight किया था, from that only they have picked this question. What is a modified stem that grows horizontally underground or below the ground called as? Okay, bulb is a layers, that is leaf sheath से बनता है. Onion, best example, onion आप याद रखिए. Rhizome, that is ginger. This is the one again horizontally grown underground stem. Runners, these are generally grasses में होता है, though they are also horizontally underground stem, but they are not modified and they simply help it to propagate, sort of, that is move. And suckers, these are the buds that develop from these rhizomes only. Okay, and stolons, they are very close to the bottom of that stem, very close to the soil, wherein these are the ones that develop into tubers. Okay, tubers के साथ आप stolons को कर सकते हैं. Here in this case it is rhizome that we are talking about. Identify the deficiency element development of intervenal chlorosis from bottom to top in later stages. Purple coloration and bronzing, ultimately drying of the plant parts. See, we have 17 plant mineral nutrients. Okay, very, very important. 17 के 17 आपके लिए important रहेंगे. What is, what is the use of that nutrient? What happens if there is deficiency of this element? What happens if there is excess of this element? What are its main functions? Very, very important, these 17 elements, and this comes under soils and plant mineral nutrition. Very important. Here in this case we are talking about potassium. Calcium में क्या होता है? It kills that cell wall and all that. What will happen because of that? एक patchy type का आ जाता है. Sometimes we feel that after watching that, we feel that it might has been at the fruit, or it might have been attacked with some fungus or so. But actually it is a deficiency of calcium. बोरॉन का क्या है? दैट विल अफेक्ट द बड्स. ओके, बड्स को बहुत इफेक्ट करता है. देयर बाय दे वोंट बी एबल टू ग्रो फर्दर. ओके, नाइट्रोजन के बिना तो प्लांट ग्रोथ ही नहीं होता. स्टंटेड, येलोइश, बिल्कुल येलोइंग हो जाता है, एंड स्टंटेड ग्रोथ. कॉपर, इट इज अगेन इम्पॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस द कपिंग ऑफ लीव्स कप की तरह हो जाते हैं. दे विल नॉट एबल टू hold the water properly, and also this would be important when it comes to reproduction. Okay, so all these 17 nutrients, they are important for the plant growth. Okay, sometimes in larger quantities, sometimes in minor quantities. Moving on to our next question. What is the process of drop down of milk after the stimulation of oxytocin, which is a hormone? See, when we talk about, this is from the animal husbandry, very, very important. Okay, when we talk about the lactation process में क्या है? 4 stages है. Lactogenesis, galactopoiesis, milk let down और मिल्क इजेक्शन, एंड लास्ट में आता है आपका इन्वोल्यूशन. Okay, will not go very deep into that. Lactogenesis and galactopoiesis क्या है? The milk secretion would start lactogenesis. Milk secretion would be maintained in this stage galactopoiesis, and milk ledda. Now this is the stage where the milk will come out. Okay, and after that, once the milk completely is exhausted in that udder, involution happens. That is, alveoli will slowly shrink. Alveoli are those cells which help in producing the milk. That is the involution. Okay. Yes, Ashutosh, sorry. Hello, you are yes, you are late. कोई नहीं, आप you can go through the video later also, no problem. Okay, it is milk letdown that we are talking about here. Moving on to our next question. Which among the following is the popular breed of layer poultry that belongs to Italy? Now when we talk about poultry, it is also one of the most important topics. Breeds of poultry: Asiatic breeds, Mediterranean breeds, England, that is European breeds, American class, layers, broilers, again utility classification, that is very very important, and different breeds from different classes that would be asked. एक question तो आता है. In this case it is a white leghorn that we are talking about, and world में ही सबसे पहले जो recognize किए है when it comes to the layer breed, layer poultry, that is the highest number of eggs that are laid, that is by the white leghorns. Okay. I'm sorry Ashutosh, I didn't get you here. Moving on to our next question. Agriculture Education Day is celebrated on the birth anniversary of which among the following? Now when we talk about agriculture days, in that 2 days are very very important for you to remember. Baki soil day and all that also would be important. But when it comes to India, 2 days are important. One, Agriculture Education Day, and the other is Kisan Divas. Kisan Divas or National Farmer Day. Okay. Now Agriculture Education Day is celebrated on the birth anniversary of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, our first President of Independent India. Okay, that is on 3rd December. This is Agriculture Education Day. And Chaudhry Charan Singh, ये हमारे former Prime Minister है, and his birth anniversary is celebrated as the National Farmer Day or the Kisan Divas, which we celebrate every year on 23rd December. Okay, important. ये दोनों आप याद रखिए, बहुत आसपास में 3rd December एक है and 23rd December एक है. And he is a former first President of Independent India, and Chaudhry Charan Singh is the former Prime Minister of India. बहुत कम टाइम के लिए थे, but while he was as an agriculture minister, he has done a lot to the farming community, and that in that recognition only we celebrate his birth anniversary as the National Farmers Day or the Kisan Divas. Okay. Moving on to our next question. What is the agroforestry system where long fodder crops are grown to protect soil, act as mulch and to prevent erosion among the trees? So it is pasture, fodder crops, nothing but pastures, plus trees, that is silviculture. Agroforestry, very very important. There are various kinds of agroforestry. Actually आप terms भी याद रखेंगे ना, you can mix and match your own kind of agroforestry system. Here in this case silvipastoral that we are talking about. Agri-silvipastoral मतलब कोई agriculture crop, any agriculture crop, plus silviculture, that is trees, plus pasture, that is fodder crops. Horti, agri, silvi, pastoral, horticulture crop, any fruit, tree, vegetable, anything. Agriculture, silviculture, that is trees and pastures. Agri, pastoral, agriculture plus pastures. Agri, piscipastoral, that is agriculture. Fisheries, that is ponds भी होंगे वहाँ पे, and pastoral, fodder crops. So if you can understand the core terms, you can make mix and match of whatever that comes. So here in this case दो ही crops बोल रहे, एक तो long fodder crops and trees, so it would be silvipastoral. So core words, very easy. Okay, moving on to our next question. What is the increase in agricultural production per unit of inputs, which may be labor, land, time, fertilizer, seed, feed, cash, anything known as. That is, we are increasing the production per unit. That is, we are intensifying agriculture. In simpler terms, जो यहाँ पे दिया है उसी को intensify. Obviously, it would be agricultural intensification. So question में ही answer है actually. The only thing is terminology. Earlier question also was like that. So actually when we look at ARD paper, we generally say it is moderate to high level. But there are many tricky questions. If one can handle that carefully, actually a moderate paper ही है. ज़्यादा tough नहीं रहता है. Okay, moving on to our next question. Apna Khet Apna Kaam is a scheme under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. That is जो scheme है of which of the following states? See, MGNRNG, this Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee क्या है? Providing guarantee that they'll be providing 100 days of unskilled labor work to the poor. Right, for that there are various programs that are run under it. क्योंकि सिर्फ MGNRNG मतलब कितने क्या काम करवाएंगे? Under that there are various you can say components sort of, not only run by the central government but by the respective state governments as well. One such program is this Apna Khet Apna Kaam, and this was launched by Rajasthan. राजस्थान ने लॉन्च किया था. मूविंग ऑन टू आवर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अगेन फ्रॉम पैथोलॉजी. Okay, identify the disease of grapes based on the following symptoms. Initial symptoms appear on leaves as sclerotic spots on the upper surface. Signs of the pathogen appear in a short time later as white webby mycelium on the lower leaf surface. जहाँ पे भी lower leaf surface आता है, that would be downy mildew. Okay, as spores are produced, the infected areas take on a white, powdery or dusty appearance. Powdery mildew on the upper side of the leaf, downy mildew on the lower side of the leaf. Here, oh, here it is powdery mildew. Okay, it is actually downy mildew. ये actually downy mildew है. Let me check. Okay, मैं एक बार check करती हूँ. Why I have given powdery mildew? It actually downy mildew only. I'll check it and I'll actually remove this question in the PDF also. Once I'll check, I'll discuss in the class. Then in one of the next, मैंने जैसे बताया है कि I'll cover another shift questions also. In that I'll take this up. I'm really sorry for the goof up. क्योंकि जहाँ तक मुझे आइडिया है, this is downy mildew, but still I'm skeptical कि आंसर मैंने क्यों दिया है. Okay, sorry once again. Moving on to our next question. Project Chaman was launched with the aim of helping which branch of agriculture? Now, there are various projects or various schemes or programs that are taken by the government for various processes. In this case, this particular project has been taken for the assessment of horticulture production. Okay, coordinated horticulture assessment and management using geoinformatics, that is remote sensing and all that, thereby trying to understand the mapping of area and the output of 7 horticulture crops in 12 states. क्योंकि मैन्युअली मैपिंग करना बहुत मुश्किल है. नॉर्मल क्रॉप्स में क्या है, एग्रीकल्चर वाले में they'll come up with the what you'll say harvesting. Okay, the testing sample harvesting sort of. Based on the output they'll cover the in that area, उसी area में वो test करेंगे based on the output that they have received in the sample area, they'll apply that for the rest of the area. So थोड़ा easy है. Okay, but here horticulture it's not like that. It can't be grown at one place. So for which they have taken the help of this project Chaman for carrying out the mapping of area and output of horticulture crops. Currently it is applicable for 7 crops. Moving on to our next question. Which one among the following is the air breathing fish? Fisheries में air breathing fishes, it is completely what you say altogether a special kind of fishes where they have special appendages. When we talk about these mangroves or the areas where the water is very less, or the marshy areas, there also aquatic life thrives. How does it happen? Because there are these kind of fishes, air breathing fishes, that you can find. Similar to your mangroves where they have this negatively geotrophic roots. Okay, they help in respiration and thereby they can thrive there. Similarly, these are those kind of fish which can thrive there, and these are considered as one of the highly nutritious fishes. Okay, and they can stay without water for 2 to 3 days, which makes them very much good for transportation. Transportation में भी आराम से डाल सकते हैं. 2 to 3 days तक they will be alive by the time it reaches the consumer as well. And there are various kinds of air breathing fishes, and last 2 to 3 years में 1 or 2 questions were asked on this air breathing fishes. एक question था which of the following air breathing fishes can be is highly marketed or is available in huge is the most marketable fish, and that was marils, striped marils. Okay, and here in this case it is magur, which is the air breathing fish. Fisheries terminology very important, and these special kinds of fishes. Magur, which is Indian catfish Clarias magur or Clarias batrachus, and these are those conditions. They have high commercial value as they can be marketed in living condition, also referred to as live or jowl fishes. As you can see, a magur, singhi, chenna, this chenna striatus, big or striped maril or snakehead fish. This is the one that you can find in largely marketed species of air breathing fishes. It is chenna striatus, big or striped maril or snake headed fish, because उसका head देख के लगता है snake की जैसा लगता है. That's why we call it as snake headed fish. Okay, yes. Moving on to our next question. Which one among the following is the only genetically modified crops approved for commercial propagation in India? अभी तक एक हमने लॉन्च किया है, and that is BT cotton. That is Bacillus thuringiensis is the one that gene has been incorporated into the cotton plant. Thereby, whenever the bollworms etc. they try to feed on this plant, they will not be able to survive. BT cotton. Moving on to our next question. Which is an approach that includes sustainably using existing natural resources through crop and livestock production systems to achieve long-term higher productivity and farm incomes under climate variabilities? This will help farmers fetch adaptation gains and also reduce greenhouse gases. The same question जो earlier पूछा था, climate resilient agriculture, right? So students gave both kind of questions. Some said no, it was the answer itself was climate resilient agriculture. Few said no, that was options that were given. So we have included both. So here comes the climate resilient agriculture definition. There we have seen the or you can say the concept of climate resilient agriculture in detail. That's it. Okay. Moving on to our next question. MSP is given to 23 crops in India, including FRP for sugarcane. So means 22 plus 1. Why FRP? Fair and remunerative pricing. Higher the sugar juice extraction, higher would be the price. सबको एक तरह से कैसे? For that it's not called MSP because MSP तो एक fixed price है. FRP क्या है? According to the increase in that sugar extraction, sugar cane juice extraction, उनका प्राइस कम ज़्यादा हो जाता है with a particular threshold. Okay, so that's why it is FRP, and 22 plus 1 total 23 crops are there. Now classify the MSP related crops based on the seasons. Excuse me. So before winding up, I would like to request you all to please like this session and share this session with your friends as well, so that they can also benefit. Here there are 14 Kharif crops, 6 Rabi crops and 2 commercial crops. Okay, and as you can see here, 23 commodities. Kharif crops include paddy, jawar, bajra, ragi, maize, arhar, moong, urad, cotton, groundnut, sunflower seed, soybean, sesame, Niger seed. Rabi crops wheat, barley, gram, masoor, rapeseed and mustard, safflower and toria. And commercial copra, dehusked coconut एक है, jute एक है, and FRP for sugarcane. Okay. So this is all from my end. I know it has been a lengthy class today, but I didn't want to do it in parts. I wanted to wind up this in one go. Okay, so done we are. ARD 2023. एक ही shift के है ये. This is of one shift only. We have one more shift pending that we'll be doing in another session. Because tomorrow we'll be looking into ESA. ESA के भी 2 shifts के questions है. That also we'll be looking in 2 different sessions. Okay. So hope this helps you to understand the kind of questions that can be asked from the syllabus that NABARD has already provided, or the current affairs from which the questions can be picked. Few current affairs जहाँ पे figure related है, that I have omitted here. I haven't included, but questions can be asked कि GDP contribution क्या है livestock का, or what is the GDP growth that has been witnessed as per the latest economic survey or the latest estimates. कहीं से भी questions पूछे जा सकते हैं. Or they can ask you which state production, which is a state that is number 1 in a particular crop production. So those kind of questions can also be asked. Latest data भी आएगा. July August में release होता है. So once that happens, I'll take you through that new data. Otherwise, if your notification comes before that, we'll do with the previous data only. But for that also, let's wait for some more time. So those kind of questions I haven't included here. Okay, I'll upload this PDF as well tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much. Since I'm not getting any queries, I'm winding up the session. So thank you very much once again. Please take good care of yourself. Bye bye. See you all tomorrow at the same time.